Hello, and welcome to Mechwarrior Online. Today I'm doing a review of Iron Eagle, or the Vapor Eagle specifically. This is the 3P, and this is the Platinum one, I believe. And you can kind of see it in the paint. And this is my own build design. I've never seen anybody do this build on this mech. Yeah, it's quite pretty. I especially like the little mohawk thing going on top. Anyway, so I have 2 ER medium lasers on board and 3 ATM6s. I also have laser AMS and a Clan XL 330 motor. It has 3 internal double heat sinks on board, and then I'm running 6 tons of ammo, which seems to be about what you need for this. I have a lot of fun with this mech. Now, can I sacrifice a ton for like a Clan active probe? Absolutely. But the way I fire this weapon system, I actually need as much tonnage as I can get. And this is what I've gone with this. I could probably sacrifice half a ton and put a light active probe on board, and that might help, you know, for the interim. But I can fire these weapons equally with and without a lock. So obviously it helps if there is a lock. But a lot of times with my ATMs, I fire them without a lock. Just not as often as with a lock. So firepower is given at 48, speed is 97.2, and heat is 1.41, which means I can alpha strike with this mech as much as I want. Now, alpha strike, the alpha strike suggested on this one for firepower says 48, but if you know anything about ATMs, and if you watched a single one of my video about ATMs, you know that that is not the same number. So each one of these does 12, but in optimum range it does 15. So that's 45 right there, not including the 2 ER medium lasers, which are going to give me an additional 12, which takes me to 57. So 57 is much better than 48. Now this is not an omnipod mech, so that means I am getting quirks out of this thing, which is pretty rare for me. So chassis C-bail bonus of 30. Initial thrust up on jump jets, 15. Wow, it's almost like I should have had jump jets on here, but I took them off because I don't care about jump jets. Most of the time I don't even know that they're there. With the exceptions of the Shadow Cat and a couple other mechs, I almost never use jump jets, even if the mech is equipped with it. So yeah, those are the only quirks that this thing comes with. But I'm used to not getting much out of the quirks of mechs anyways. As predictable with me, 2 cool shots and a UAV. I just know the button configuration makes things a lot easier. Features. Well, since I've got really good cooldown, heat management, I went with additional quirks or skills for cooldown, so I could fire my weapons more often. Obviously, maxed out on range. Heat generation, absolutely. Velocity, yes. Full missile features, rack, spread, and high explosive for crit damage. Now, I don't do a lot of tanking with this, so I didn't do any reinforced casing. And on medium mechs, I'm not even entirely sure it makes much of a difference. It's like, you know, 1 or 2% here and there. On heavies and assaults, depending on my build, determines whether or not it gets any of this at all, or 2 or 3. So skeletal density, reinforced armor hardening. I do have AMS on board, so I added that. In the event that I get hot enough to need it, I have overheat damage, because remember, I'm running laser AMS always. Only a couple of my mechs have I ever run ballistic AMS. Cool run, heat containment, seismic sensor, radar deprivation. These are all a must for me. Sensor range is nice. It's kind of an added bonus, but honestly, I would go with radar deprivation and none of these if it was available. And then I would take those other 5 skills and put it someplace else, probably into speed or something. And of course, I have my 3 consumables. Weapon grouping. Weapon grouping is pretty simple. 2 ER medium lasers and 3 ATM-6s. So, can you put more weapons on this mech? Absolutely. You actually have room for 4 energy weapons and the 3 missile weapons. But I went with this operation here, and this is similar to what I actually run on my Paquette from time to time. And the Paquette is one of the mechs I do take advantage of the jump jets, or specifically the Huntsman. I think the Huntsman is a better mech than this one overall, but it doesn't have as good a heat management. And because this one doesn't have jump jets, it's probably why it has better heat management. But if you compare the two side by side, they're actually fairly similar. They both have high weapons, and they both have a pretty good amount of options. The reason I give the nod to the Huntsman is an omnipod mech, so I can make it into anything I want. And currently I'm running 6 ATM-3s on that one with 2 ER medium lasers. Have I run 3 ATM-6s? Yes. I've run 3 ATM-6s. I've done 2 ATM-6s. That was interesting. I did 2 ATM-12s, which I actually run on my actual Paquette that I have on another account. And but this one here, this build here, seems to be the best of the worlds. I have a clan active probe, and I have plenty of ammo, and I have 6 ATM-3s with the 2 ER medium lasers, and I think this does it better than the Vapor Eagle. But the Vapor Eagle is still a lot of fun anyways. Anyway, this is my quick review of this guy here, and since I'm firing ATM weapons and I'm getting right out into the field of battle, I wasn't too worried about whether or not people would see me, so I went with this kind of a paint scheme. It's one of the few mechs I have that doesn't have that weird iron cross looking setup on the ATM builds, but I really like the platinum paint job, and it's really hard to find.